Howdy, Mike McCoy here. Out here in the shop. I'm hiding out from grandkids and stuff. It's Sunday. It's rained here all day and mostly last night. We've had a lot of water to fall, but we need that. It's that time of year, and it's what we need. So we're getting it. Don't need to gripe now. A little cool today. It ain't cold, but it's probably in the 50s, and this is a good day to be alive. I thought I'd tell you a little story. It's about a guy that worked for me from Oregon, Phil Anderson, one of the finest people I ever known in my life, and one of the craziest. And we was logging a job out next to Mars Hill, and him and my boy was out there working on a Saturday morning. There's just a few trees that needed to be cut, and they had to be pulled. It was right against State Road. And I shouldn't have sent them, for neither one of them could cut a tree worth 2 cents, but I did. And they was up there next road. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 or 9, somewhere around there. And there was a little white oak, and that thing might have been 18 inches through at the bottom on a good day. And it was a state road and then a house on the other side. And just paint this picture in your mind. This guy in this house, he was probably middle class, maybe a little upper middle class, for it was a nice house. And he had bought him a brand new Chevrolet truck. And when he had brought it in that night and parked it, he had backed it in his driveway and left it probably 4 or 5 foot from a pavement. I'm sure the reason he done this so his neighbors could see he got a new truck. He was proud of it, and it should have been. It's a nice truck. And Chad and them's over there working on this oak tree, and he comes out and he's got his bathrobe on and flip-flops, cup of coffee in his hand, and he's going to get his paper. The man's happy. He's arrived. He's got him a new truck, probably a good job. Looks to be 35, maybe 40 years old. And he's happy. It's Saturday morning. Well, he comes down the driveway there, and he comes down the driveway, Chad has hooked a skidder to this oak, and Phil's the saw man, Chad's the skidder man. Well, he starts pulling on it, and Phil saws that thing plumb off. And when he does, the bottom of the oak pulled out and set down, and the top went right across the road, right toward this guy. I mean, right toward him. Well, he's got a paper in under his arm, coffee in his hand, and them flip-flops gets tangled up in the tail of his bathrobe. On the ground he hits with a tree coming straight at him. Well, he's on his hands and knees trying to get away from it, and it falls. And luckily, it was a short tree. I mean, it didn't hurt him. Didn't hurt him at all. But it come close to, and they might have been just the very tips. 1 or 2 of them limbs hit that brand new truck. Well, he bats the trail right back to the house. Phil and Chad, just as quick as they could, they drug that tree out of the road, trimmed it up, and took the ladder, and they come home after they took it to the landing. And they told me what happened. And I thought, oh my God, I'm loud this shore's world. They've probably ruined that truck, you know. Now, I asked them both, I said, did it hit the truck? And they said, well, it might have touched it just a little bit. We don't think it hurt it. And I said, well, did it hurt the man? They said, no, other than scaring him. And see, he may have skinned his knees a little bit while he was crawling around. And I thought, oh God, what I ought to do. So I decided not to do nothing. I figured if he'd contact me. And he never did. And I appreciate that a lot. I reckon that just scared that fella to death. It scared Chad and Phil to death too. But with them two, it was something like that all the time. I mean, you just had to watch them like you would 2 young'uns. But Phil had worked as the workingest man I ever seen. And he'd tell you, he'd say, now don't tell me to do something other if you don't want it done. And it didn't matter if he tore up whatever. If you told him to do something other, he'd do it, you know. But he sure messed up that time, and he just didn't know what he was doing. If they'd have tied that cable up in that tree a little bit higher, if they'd got up on top of the arch of that skidder and tied it, but they just got it. Well, I bet the cable wasn't 2 foot above the saw cut. And he just jerked that thing down, and right across the road it went. But that was an interesting time here. I had some liability insurance, and I thought I was going to have to use it, but the guy never did say nothing. And to this day, I'm beholden to him for that. I guarantee you, he thought for a minute he was going to be killed. Well, that's that.